Hey, staff. Did I can I ask the recording now? Let me get Rick's name changed.
Are you going to share your screen, Jim, for the agenda?
Yep. Now when we do this, I've got to also, let me see here. Got two. All right. Everyone can see that?
No, I don't have a picture, Jim.
Is Stephanie, is Steph
She went
up there?
downstairs. She went downstairs.
What's that, John?
She went downstairs.
Hey, John,
Yeah.
on your computer, look on the bottom left-hand corner of the screen. There should be a picture of a video camera.
Yep.
Click on that. That should give you your video.
On that icon.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Hey, there we go.
Oh, did you get it?
I think so. Host has asked you to start your video.
Yeah, my home IT director's on her way up to help them out there, so we should be
I
good.
got it. You're a good girl.
All right, we are at 7 o'clock and our secretary is getting this video started. So John,
I'm ready.
are you in a place that we're okay to get started?
Other than my face. There it is.
There we go. It is 7:01 p.m. I'd like to call this meeting of the Planning Mission to order. And John, can you get attendance for us?
Sure. Schenkel,
Here.
Manchester,
Here.
you go. Hunt. He's muted.
Yeah, we'll get him down mute.
Cox,
Here.
Newman,
Here.
Mucha.
Mooch is excused.
Okay. Wortella,
Here.
Frisbee,
Present. I think Bill Hunt is froze up.
All right. Thank you for that. Agenda item number 3, we have approval of minutes from the August 10th, 2020 meeting. I'm assuming everyone had an opportunity to
I
review.
have,
before you do the minutes, we do have to do an approval of the agenda.
Bill, log off and log back on.
Okay, Matt.
All right, we got a couple things going on here. So what now, John?
You have to do an agenda approval first.
Don't see that on the agenda here, and we haven't.
No, we have to approve the agenda before we do a,
Now, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
I think, do you hear Bill Hunt now?
Yes.
yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
There's one thing I wanted to change on the agenda is the facade loan is a facade grant. It's not a loan, it's a grant.
All right. Is that what you're seeking approval of, John?
Just, we have to approve an agenda before we start it.
Okay, I will call for a motion to approve today's agenda.
Frisbee, we approve the agenda. As any of staff, if there's any changes other than what's noted.
All right. First, by
Chris Newman will support the agenda as amended.
all right, and then second by Newman,
All in favor?
and
We have to do a roll call when we're doing it virtual.
yeah, all votes are roll call virtually.
Schenkel?
Sorry, Matt.
Yes, you're
Manchester?
good.
Yes.
Yes.
Cox?
Yes.
Newman?
Yes.
Mucha, soon to be. Wortella?
Yes.
And Frisbee.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Now we have approval of minutes from August 10th, 2020. Has everyone had a chance to review those? Any questions, amendments that you'd like to pose? If not, I'll call for a motion for approval.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes as they are written and as we've described and read. This is Manchester.
All right, first from Manchester.
This is Don Wortell. I'll second that, please.
Thank you, Don. All right, we'll do a roll call again, John.
Schenkel?
Yes.
Manchester?
Yes.
Both, yes. Hunt?
Yes.
Cox?
Yes.
Newman,
Yes.
Mucha, Soon, Wortella,
Yes.
and Frisbee.
Yes.
Great, thank you. So on to agenda item number 4, Downtown Development Authority. We have some staff reports as well as a report from John DeBalt. So John, it looks like you're first on the review of 2 facade grant requests.
Yes, we've had two facade grants turned in last month. One is from Vickers. They're applying for having their sign out by the road repaired and a new sign put on the original sign that's there. They're also doing that, so it's a revamped location business sign. They're doing it in 2 phases, is what they're doing. So they're revamping a location of a business sign on the front of the building, which they have submitted a sign permit to the village, was confirmed today. And painting of and lighting of the outside of the building. I think with the whole phase, I will show a picture of this to you guys. You can see it on my line there. That's what the front of the building is, what they're submitting to look like. Everybody see that?
It's really difficult to see and kind of understand where that is. Is that, do we have
It's on
that?
the front of the, right on the front of the building where the sign, where the goofy sign is.
Hold on a sec. I'll go off screen, Matt, and I'll get it on my phone and then have it as a screen shared. So just a second.
Okay. Sure. So John, while Village Manager Mallory is working on that, can maybe just a refresher of kind of some parameters or how we as the voting body should be looking at this grant request for approval?
I'm assuming since Wortella and Cox and myself are the DDA liaison, that the 3 of us will get together, go over the grant, make sure it complies, and then submit it back to the village. Do you want it to the village, Jim, or do you want it back to this board?
No, we want your recommendation to the village. And just so the planning commission is aware, tonight is not a vote of approval. It's updating on the 2 facade grant requests we've received. And then the subcommittee will get into the details. And in the October, will come with recommendations for the vote in October.
That vote goes to the village council.
The vote first, no, the vote comes here to the planning commission.
Got it. Okay. So we're literally just kind of reviewing that, and then the subcommittee will really iron out the details.
Absolutely. This is just, and John, you can correct me, there's no vote tonight, but this is just an update. We received these 2. John's going to spearhead the meeting with the subcommittee that was set up and then report back with recommendations next month.
I guess what I'm asking you, Chairman Schenkel, is you want Mr. Don and Bill and myself to be the subcommittee to do that. Since we were.
Chairman Schenkel's shaking his head yes, so I think we're all in agreement.
Yeah, I believe the 3 of you were the ones that had identified an interest in being a part of that subcommittee. John, I feel confident moving forward with you leading that effort to represent the Planning Commission for that subcommittee.
Don and Bill, are you both in agreement with this?
Yes.
Okay, then I will contact you guys next week and we'll set up a meeting to review these grants.
Great.
Okay?
John, is there any high-level discussion that you want to have tonight regarding either one of these?
Well, the one was what we had discussed before about off-site grants, which the sign is not on the building itself, but it is right in the front of the building. Again, they're doing theirs in 2 phases. So again, they've submitted an application for a sign permit to the village as well. The first phase is what they want to do is put it on the building. The second phase is something more on the outside of the sign out by the road, because the sign does not work anymore. I'm assuming it's a grandfathered thing, that the sign is already there. That's from the original bank, I'm assuming. When that was it wasn't PNC, but it was a bank.
Standard Federal.
Standard Federal. And I've also gave them a paint permit or a paint application so that they can buy the paint from the hardware store, which keeps the activity in the village. There's a paint program that's with the DDA as well. If they buy the paint from the hardware store, it keeps everything circled that way. The second application is for the hideaway. Again, they want to repaint the whole front of their building and repair the upper, I believe it's called cornice at the top of the building. There's pretty extensive rot that's gone on at the top of that building. Again, it's something that should fall into the same category of that. So,
Great.
any questions on that?
I say they're worthy task taken on by the owner, so.
And Vickers would be a new applicant. They were denied 3 years ago when they first opened up part of their grant, the grant that they requested, so they would be a new applicant.
What was this is Member Newman, what was what were they denied for on their grant?
It was the fencing that they put around their garbage container because it was not attached. It wasn't part of the facade. Okay. Well, that's why it was denied. There was also the fencing that they put around the front of their building, which was not a code fence. You recall when they put that fence around the front of the building of the patio?
Mm-hmm.
And that was it was not up to code. So that was why it was denied too.
Okay. Any other questions for Secretary DeBolt regarding the grant requests? Right, we will look forward to hearing your recommendations next month.
Okay.
Village Manager Mallory, looks like you have an update for us on some American flags.
Yeah, both in the approval process in front of the Planning Commission for this year's fiscal year, as well as approved by the council, was to update the American flags that hang from our light posts during the holiday seasons in the village. We, in just being transparent, it is within the policies of the village within an amount that the village manager can spend, but we wanted to inform the Planning Commission. We're looking at the quality of flags. So, and it's how you as chairman want to do it, Mr. Schenkel. I don't have a problem in this situation if it's a budget not to exceed $1,650. I believe it'll be closer to $1,200, but we want to verify the quality to make sure these flags last. To take a motion and second and get the support to expend the money. I do feel the need to let the Planning Commission know that the policies that govern the village manager's office is on items that are approved within a fiscal year budget, anything less than $3,500. We go ahead and would take care of this purchase and then advise after the fact, the council, but I want to make sure everyone's on the same page before we did that. I can foresee if something is more critical, which I don't have an example of that something, but there could be a chance in the future that due to the length between meetings, if something needed to be purchased, the actual number is 5,000, just between 3,500 and 5,000 needs a competitive bid process. So we certainly wanted to inform the Planning Commission that those new flags would be ordered as went through the budget process, but I'll pause here and listen to how this group would like, if they want a motion and an approval on each of these requests, or how you'd like to proceed.
Just a little,
Jim, I'm
Which-
sorry, Chairman.
where do these hang and how many are you looking to purchase?
There's going to be 40 for all the light poles that have flags down in our core downtown. It's all of them will be within the DDA boundaries.
And how long do they typically last? I like the idea of better quality. Do you have kind of an idea from years past on how long flags last?
The current flags are 6 or 7 years old. I think these will be of better quality,
Okay.
but we would certainly hope that under normal weather conditions, they'd last at least that time frame.
Okay.
Mr. Frisbee, do you have a question for me?
Yes, Mr. Mallory. This will come out of the general fund. It won't come out of a DDA budget, right?
No, it will be it was presented within the DDA section of the budget for streetscapes and in that, so it would be 248 DDA money used.
Okay, all right. That's what I wanted clarification on.
Yeah, if it was coming out of the general fund, we would have just purchased them and moved forward.
Any other questions for the village manager? I appreciate you bringing this to our attention and allowing us to be a part of the decision-making process, village manager Mallory. I'll ask for a motion. That's what you're asking for, right? A motion and an approval to spend this money?
Yes, sir.
All right. I'll call for a motion to approve this budget expense.
This is Don Wartella. Excuse me. I would make a motion to approve new downtown American flag budgets not to exceed $1,650.
Great. First from Wartella, do I have a support?
Frisbee, support.
Second from Frisbee. We'll do a roll call now, John.
Okay. Schenkel,
Yes.
Manchester,
Yes.
Galt, yes. Hunt,
Yes.
Cox,
Yes.
Newman,
Yes.
Mucha, still out. Wartella
Yes.
and Frisbee.
Yes.
Okay.
Great.
And thank you, and we'll report back next month with the exact amount spent.
Thank you. Item number 5 is Mr. Lee with an update and input on social districts. Take it away, Mr. Lee.
Thank you, Chairman Schenkel. I appreciate it. A social district, in a nutshell, is available to us under new legislation created by the Michigan Liquor Control Commission, maybe not created by, but certainly policed by. The application must run through those, and what it allows is a person to leave a licensed liquor establishment with a drink in their hand in a special cup with a special social district logo and also some sort of identification from the establishment it was sold, and allows them to move through this social district, including city-owned common areas. And again, it's designed for economic development to draw people through downtown. We began the discussion several months ago And by the way, this has been done in Ohio. They're called DORAs, Designated Outdoor Refreshment Areas. We talked to a number of communities that were doing them, and they've had a good deal of success. They've also learned a few lessons that we were able to pick their brain about. We had meetings with all 5 of our liquor license establishments. Those would be Vickers, the Hideaway, the Main Street Pub, Jasper's, and the Distant Whistle. All of them were in favor of this development. We talked to them at length about what it might look like. Then we had a series of meetings with our downtown owners. We've had a number of meetings with residents. We've talked about it in village council meetings and received feedback. We are currently in the process of deciding what those boundaries would look like. A lot of communities in Michigan have cast a very wide net to include as much as they see in the future. And in this era of no lawyer left behind, we've had questions for our legal counsel over and over and over, including a meeting this morning. And he tells us that once this is established, it's his belief that we can expand if necessary. So we don't think that we need to create a massive area, mark that area as is required by the Liquor Control Commission, because we believe people, if it's marked available, will move into those areas, and we'd like tighter control. We've worked very closely with Chief Sanderson on this. Chief Sanderson is strongly supportive, number one, of being a part of setting the boundaries. Number two is he sees it as a great opportunity to get his officers out of the car, onto the streets in the social districts to interact with citizens and visitors. Our plan at this point is to present to the council on the 21st. I will stop there and, well, no, I guess I will not. If any of you have specific input you'd like to deliver to Jim and I, we would be happy to set up a Zoom call or a face-to-face meeting. And I will stop there and answer any questions I can at this point.
Alex, this is Don Wartella. Are we looking for an area that could be kind of lineal in area like Prairie and Main Street, limited to the Prairie and Main Street? Could it be parking lots behind these buildings, or could it be public parks in downtown Vicksburg, or could it be all?
The answer to that, Don, is it could be all. We are looking at touching all of the liquor license establishments, not going beyond that. We've had some discussion of parking lots and alleyways that continue, but we believe taking an open intoxicant into a parking lot is an invitation to get in a car and drive home with one for the road, so to speak. And so we're leaning away from that. We're also leaning away from residential areas. We've heard from folks in town that they really would not appreciate folks. And I will tell you, in talking to folks about this, I think people project their experience into this process. So you get a wide variety of opinions. You get those folks that may not have behaved well early on in their alcohol eligible years, and they see this as problematic. You see other folks who've attended events like Art Hops and moved around, and they would be more supportive and cast a wider net. But at this point, we're looking at a proposal on Monday that will be tightened down. It will not be overly stated. We know that we will have to go back at some point to the village council. There are some areas that have plans to be developed that would be ideal extensions to this social district, but they're not ready yet, so they will not be in this plan. And at some point, I believe both the village and the mill would have a desire to connect that social district because we believe it would be tremendously advantageous to our downtown to be able to capture visitors and convention folks on a non-motorized route into our downtown.
May I ask one more question, please? I'm in favor of this type of district. I hope that it gets approved. I think it'll really be of advantage to our community. I was wondering about littering. Now, these cups that they take out, they're probably going to be plastic or paper. Does the village have the ability to impose a deposit of $0.25 on a cup so to encourage the people to return the cup instead of throwing it on the ground or throwing it in the trash? Is that something that could be considered or is out of line?
No, to the deposit on the cup, because the cups cannot be reused. You cannot take one from one establishment into another. But we will be required to have a number of recycling receptacles for those cups. We here in Ohio, for instance, I talked to a small community that incorporated like 500 acres into their social district. And they indicated they had a problem with littering, but it was outside of where the establishments were. When people went out into the woods or down by the creek or whatever, and there weren't receptacles, they dropped them. So our plan is to have signs at the end of the social district, as well as recycling receptacles for those cups, because you will not be allowed to take those cups outside of the social district area.
Alex, thank you for your patience. I appreciate it.
Thank you for your question.
I'll send her up there.
No, I got it. I can lock it up.
Alex,
Log it off and log back on.
Alex, I know that you had kind of said what the goal of a social district was, but maybe just kind of high level, what do villages or municipalities hope to achieve by allowing this type of district to be in place?
It's designed to increase foot traffic in the areas, to increase business. Our hope would be that as we had events in our social district, such as the food truck rally, we would generate visitors. They would, see the charm and friendliness of this community and think, this is a great destination, not far away. The next morning, they'd see Mr. DeBalt at the Rise and Dine for breakfast and, attend our activities, see Mr. Wertella over at the Historic Village for a tour. So it is to compete. It is to enhance our social activities, and it's designed to increase traffic in and around the village to support our businesses.
Great. So you said that you had connected with some folks that live in and around this proposed district. Was there any negative feedback that you heard from that group?
I don't want to say negative feedback, but we did hear some concerns, and we are reacting to them. I can't give you the boundaries yet. We've not met with all the village council members to share where we are with this. So to be fair, but for instance, the parking lots were there. We heard a lot of folks saying, I don't think that's a good recipe. We looked at some alleyways that we thought would be good foot traffic, but in talking to the business owners, they use the back of their businesses for parking. There's access for apartments upstairs. They voiced a concern that there were areas they did not want to be included in the social district. So we're reacting to that. We're looking at that. We're making adjustments. I think that for me, the process has been great. It has not been a great administrative idea that we put in place and then hear the negative comments. And we've really worked and listened to folks and changed and it adapted. And I think if you tune into the village council meeting on Monday when we have the final legal questions and the last few areas mapped out, you will see a well thought out, a well participated in plan that I think will be successful.
Any other questions for Mr. Lee?
Frisbee, I don't have a question, but I would encourage all to look up. Kalamazoo just put together a social district, and they have a map available. And one of my concerns, and I know what Chief Sanderson is addressing, it is just, so to speak, containment. I was taken back by the amount of acreage and property that Kalamazoo, it's like a spaghetti bowl with tentacles going all different directions. So that's what I would like to avoid, is having all these little areas that, you just said it, where you can skirt the basket and go right into your car. And I'm very confident we're going to come up with the right plan there. But I just encourage you all to look at what Kalamazoo's doing and the size of the social district. It's everything encompassing there, even, breakfast stores. It's amazing how large an area it is.
Mr. Frisbee, if I can respond to that, we looked at the plan. It scared me to death. The area and beyond what they plan to use as the incorporated area to begin with. So rest assured, we will have made some serious adjustments on our plan based on the size of that one.
Rick Manchester here. I got one quick question. Is other areas, do they look at this year to year? Like, say if this got approved, we say this is good for a year, and then the following year, that way, if you wanted to make changes or if you decided it's just not working, you wouldn't have to change it. It'd be an easy thing. It's got to be voted on every year. Is that something maybe other areas do? So let's say, hey, we decided to do it. Here's our area, but we see it as this is just not working. And that way the next year you could easily change it.
We have not, in our research, found anybody that regretted doing it and had to regress and eliminate the social district. So, but there is some flexibility in a number of areas. We're talking about what the hours will be. We're talking about whether we'll be year-round or we may close down from October 31st to May 1st. Those decisions haven't been made, but there are also, one of the things we talked to the attorney about today is opening or closing that social district with a vote of the council. So we might decide that during the Christmas in the Village parade, we don't want folks moving around with open containers because it's obviously a family event. So we can shut the district down for those if there is a special event that we want to hold downtown at some point. We can do those things, but I cannot answer the question of, I would assume if it doesn't work, after a while, you could just step out, and currently the legislation goes till 2024. But in all honesty, and everyone I've talked to that established a district, understand I'm talking to Ohio communities where they've done this for a while, because here in Michigan, we're just getting our first group of folks who have applied. I think Port Huron is actually operational at this point. Jim, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't believe all of their liquor license establishments have been approved, but they have several. You can get the cup and move into the district. Again, I've just got no negative feedback other than the Ohio community, and it was a suburb of Columbus, who said, we regret having this much acreage because of the cleanup and the maintenance, but actually in the downtown residential areas, trash was not a problem. They had increased foot traffic. All of their stores were reporting increased business. It's been an economic boom for them, and that's the feedback we've gotten.
So what would be the legal ramification for individuals being downtown? Because the only thing I could see is somebody wandering out of, because you can't police all areas, and that would be an extra burden on the police because, okay, they go past an area. So who's going to police that and what's the ramifications? Is it open toxing so you could get arrested? Would it be that?
I don't know what the, I guess you would get the same penalty that you get now if you're walking downtown with an open receptacle.
Yeah, that's just why I'd hate to see it too spaghetti milled all over, because it'd be really hard to police. It'd be really hard to watch, and you just get that excuse. Well, I didn't know. I didn't see the sign. Someone wandering 3 blocks away drinking their drink, and
Yep.
that's the only problem I could see possibly happening if you make it too big of an area or that, and then we're going to have to police it because as soon as somebody does, there's going to be someone that doesn't like this idea, and they're going to be calling Jim right away.
We understand that. I should also mention that the liquor establishments have the responsibility for that cup that moves into the district. So if somebody's been overserved, you know which establishment brought that or sold that cup that moved into the district. They have to card folks. We've had a lot of concerns that, what if I give my cup to a minor and then they walk into another establishment? Well, number one, that cup can't go into another establishment. And number two, if you're going to give a minor alcohol, you're going to do that whether you're in a social district or not, and the penalties will be the same. Rest assured again that Chief Sanderson has been very involved with us in this. He met with us this morning with the attorney. He's pleased with the changes we've made. We've talked to him about line of sight, about having the officers to patrol the area, about the hours the district would be open. He has never voiced a concern that his department would not be able to handle the policing of this social district.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments for village staff? Mr. Lee, are you looking for anything from us? What is the next steps for approval of this district, or how does this kind of move forward?
The next step will be a presentation to the village council on Monday evening. I believe they will, by vote or by resolution, approve us moving forward. Then this whole process would be submitted to the Liquor Control Commission to establish this. And again, we have a lot of things, if indeed we're a seasonal, if we'd close October 31st and open May 1st, I don't believe we'd be in operation till May 1st. But if we decide to go year round, that could be sooner. But what I would like is if there's anybody on the Planning Commission, DDA, that has strong feelings or suggestions, that they arrange a conversation with Jim and I so we can have the input before we go to the council on Monday evening.
One thing I would like to add is once it gets to the Liquor Control Commission, if the council approves the village to submit to the Liquor Control Commission, each of the 5 liquor establishments, the owners of the liquor license as well, have to apply to the Liquor Control Commission for approval. So
Okay, great. Well, it sounds like if anyone does have any specific thoughts or comments, it sounds like you can reach out to Mr. Lee or Mr. Mallory individually.
I would encourage any of the council members also, if you'd like to talk to myself or any number of, Gail Reister or any of us, please reach out. Give us your input. I've been taking a poll of the pulse of the people as best as I can, and just trying to get an understanding where one of the council members made a comment about the conservativeness of our village. So of course, that has a concern. If you have any questions, or if you can direct any of your neighbors to one of the council members, as well as Alex or Jim.
I have one question for Jim and Alex. Is there a fee for this application?
Not to the village, and I'm not aware of any fee imposed by the state of the liquor license
For an extension
holders.
of their license?
No.
Okay.
What the state put this legislation in place is it was being discussed in committees in both the House and Senate for the state. With the pandemic, it got put ahead of schedule, and it's looked at as a tool for economic development.
Okay. Jim, when you're able, could you put the agenda back up for us?
Yeah, certainly. And I have just an update for one thing for the planning. Whoop, wrong button. Just a second. Give me 1 second here. John has me all nervous all of a sudden sitting next to me. So. All right. If I can, Chairman Schenkel, I just wanted to update what this group, a couple different items that will be coming next month.
What'd you do? I didn't touch enough. Oh, he went to it.
Yep. Go ahead, Village Manager Mallory.
Yes, we a few months back, the Planning Commission and ultimately Council approved a request for an expansion of miniature custom manufacturing in our industrial park. There is good news. This issue will be coming back in front of the Planning Commission next month. Originally scheduled to be an approximately 20,000 square foot expansion with, as well as the businesses going in a reevaluation of that, it'll be 32 to 35,000 square feet. I believe 32,000 square feet. It does exceed the percentage on the original request, so we'll be bringing that back in front of the Planning Commission with those details. But additional jobs, additional growth in the village, so ultimately is a very good news. That will be next month. And then Bobby, who's on today's call, but next month we'll be given an update of the final codification of the ordinances and how that's proceeding. So those are the two items that I wanted to bring forth.
Great. Any questions on either of those items? Any comments from this body? All right, we will move on to public comment. Any members of the public that would like to comment at this time?
We have two members of the public, so Jackie Coney and John Steers, I know, are on the phone. So
go ahead,
Jackie. Do you have any comments to make, or?
Nope, I don't. Thanks.
Okay, John, I'll turn it over to you then.
Okay, I just put my little clock on here. What I'd first like to comment on is your discussion of this booze zone downtown, where everybody is saying, boy, they don't want the tentacles going out into the rest of the neighborhood, while at the same time saying that they want the booze zone to connect over to the mill. So that's a pretty good tentacle running right through town, and I think somebody else had brought that concern up previously. And the other thing that just seems pretty strange to me is that why you would cancel the big booze zone during Christmas if you think it's okay during the rest of the year. Christmas is no different family friendly than any other time anybody would want to go downtown and be family friendly. So I would caution you of ever canceling anything because of concerns on that. The second thing is the thing I bring up every single time I come to a planning commission or village council meeting. No meeting packets are ever distributed for your meetings. There's no reason for this. We should have the same things in front of you as you do. Draft minutes are never published for your meetings. There is no link to any YouTube that I can channel on your website that I can find. The minutes are not published as it says on the website. It says documents on demand. You can find all the planning commission minutes there. There are no minutes there. The third thing I'd like to talk to you about is probably the main thing, and besides if it can be any more important than transparency, is the fact that we are sitting out here. I live over on UV Avenue outside in the village, and I share citizenship in the township with two people very involved in your village, both Don and Tracy. And Tracy has come out very much pro sewer. In any time that I've talked to her, I don't know Don's opinion, it really doesn't matter. But we are very concerned that the Planning Commission would not be in discussions with the council first on any expansion of the sewer system out into our area and or annexation of this area, which we're very concerned about after the kind of somewhat coup that we had in the Brady Township Board with everybody going against Michelle Crawford and not wanting her to be clerk after basically they had went and said all changed their positions without a vote of the people. So I'm going to wrap it up here. It's only 3 minutes, but I would really like to know whether anybody in the Planning Commission is concerned that the village will not tell us that whether the line coming up Sprinkle Road will be a forced sewer line, which will prevent any hookups from our neighborhoods from ever being put onto that sewer system, or it will be a gravity system, which we have already been many times.
John, we've met 3 minutes. So what I would like is if you could give us your name and your address so that we can have that. That is a necessary part of the public comment. So please provide your name and your address, please.
I sure, you know what, I'll do that. But you know what I'd like to, in return, I'd like for one person to comment on one thing of consequence that I said. My name is John Steers. I live at 5786 East UV Avenue. It would be really nice if somebody would come back and comment on something I said because nobody ever does. So thank you and have a good night.
Yeah, this body is not going to comment on that. If you would like, that would be a time to schedule a meeting with staff members. I would recommend with Village Manager Mallory to address those questions and concerns. Do we have any other public comment? All right. Hearing none, do we have any member comments from the Planning Commission?
Yes. I would just like to, I was going to, oh, Mr. Steers has left. Never mind.
Okay.
Chris, if you do have comments, and I'm not sure if you were on early when this meeting is being recorded and will be put up on YouTube. So if you do have comments, they'll be preserved there, and all the other members.
It's not so much the comments. I understand that he's a concerned citizen, but addressing the village council and the village planning commission as a non-resident of the village and demanding answers as a non-resident, quite frankly, I find it to be a little bit annoying with his repeated badgering of various individuals on the council and planning commission, that we don't address his concerns. We are here to serve the members of the village, the electors of the village, within the village limits. for him to go after members of both this commission and the council for not recognizing his concerns for matters outside the village, I think is tremendously unfortunate and a great disservice to the work that everybody on this commission and the council is trying to accomplish. And I will leave it at that.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Chris.
Chris.
Mhm.
Any other comments from the planning commission members? Hearing none.
How do you like being secretary?
Oh, it's all right. It's all being recorded. I can back up to it. Alex is a little long-winded.
It is 7 in the meeting. Great, everyone.
Good night.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Take care.
And, all right.
You have something?
No, I don't. I think
Okay.
I think we should get